Okay, this is the third video in the laser cut stereo speaker MDF tutorial, and so far we have made, if I hide all of these parts here, we have made the back, but we need to finish it off. We've made the back inner ring, that's now complete. We've made the front inner ring, and that's now complete, and the front part, and that needs finishing off. So in this tutorial, we're going to finish off the back piece, put these holes in here so our circuit board can sit in and our USB mounting point can go in there. And then we're going to do the artistic stuff on the front to make these speaker grills look good. So let's start off by opening up the back, because that's going to be the easiest one to do first. And I'm going to start off by right clicking on that surface and creating a sketch. Now the first thing we want is a central line to work from. So with my line tool and center line, in the center there, that's something I can work from. Deselect center line. And now we are going to need the rectangle tool. So this is just like we've done before. We're going to use the rectangle tool here, not snap into any nodes. You notice that certain points have got node points. You want just a standard X point when you start, and we're going to go quite wide. We're going to go 1.75 wide, and the height, remember, was 51.75. Now remember, we dimensioned it so that the center point to the top was 51.75 divided by 2 to position it nice and centrally. And now we're going to take our rectangle tool again, and see I've got a nice X there, but if I go to certain points like there, I get nodes. I don't want that. So 3.5 and 9.5. And then the other one down the bottom, 5.25 and 12.25. So now they're done, I can dimension them. I know that it's a 5mm gap from there to there, very close. And it is from there to there a 14.5mm gap. The last thing I need to do is add the USB port, and that is a rectangle, but we're going to, like before, use our center point rectangle so that we can get it centered on here. So I'm going to move it over here a little bit, just so we don't want it on top of the circuit board, because we've still got to screw it in and we need to connect it to it, but we don't want it too far away because we don't want to waste cables. So somewhere near here, and you could go centralized. That's a nice place to put it. You can click, and then you want a width of 9.5 and a height of 3.5. There we go, nice rectangle. And then we want 2 circles. So I'm going to do, and these are going to have to be 1mm diameter. I don't know what happened there. Let's try that again. There we go. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to dimension these. So these need to have a gap from the center to the edge here of 3.25. That was very close. This one's not as close. Oh, I was surprised at it. There it is, 3.25. There we go. So that is that part done. I can finish my sketch. I'm going to go to my extrude tool, and I'm going to select my profiles there, and then I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to select my profiles here. So my 6 profiles are selected. I'm going to cut them through. Check it looks good. Yep, that looks nice and accurate. And I'm going to save that. And that's the back piece done. That's 3 completed parts. Let's look at the front. So we're going to open up the front. We can close the back piece, we don't need that. And we're going to jump straight into designing the aesthetics to go on here. So I'm going to right click, create sketch. The first thing we want for this is to know where the speaker sounds are going to come from. So where are the speakers going to be? Well, let's select our construction line and our circle tool and draw concentric circles. You can see they've got the circle marker node there, the concentric mark, and that's going to be 65. So this is where the speaker's going to be. So then let's look at whereabouts we want our aesthetics. The main part of it is you want sound coming through here. So having it solid as it is now, no sound's going to get through. It's going to sound muffled and echoey and frankly quite horrible. So you want gaps for the sound to come through. But if you open the whole thing up, all the sound will come through and it would actually sound quite tinny and horrible. You need a little bit of something to cover it up. And I'm not going to get into the actual exact sciences of it, but a little bit of something to cover it. It protects the speaker, and because of the quality of speakers we're using, it actually adds a little bit of bass and reverb just by a small amount of echo. So it does make a difference to the design. So what we're going to do, we want something to cover up some of it. If you've got a specific design in mind, you've got a fancy pattern you want to use, go for it. I'm going to do hexagons again because I quite like hexagons, they're quite funky. And if I go to polygon and circumscribe polygon, I can just draw a hexagon. Now zoom in a little bit. I'm on construction line again. Let's take construction off. So I'm going to do 6 and press OK. And I've got mine horizontally lined up. You could do yours a different orientation, that's fine. And I'm going to use this to create a pattern. So I'm going to do create rectangular pattern. Objects, I want these lines here. And then here we've got our X and Y coordinates for the pattern. So if I zoom in a little bit, we can look at the total height. So if I put it there, that looks quite evenly mirrored. Ooh. There we go, that's mirrored, because I can see that because that's on the center and that's on the center. Now, that's not going to be enough sound coming through. So now we can go to distribution, extent or spacing. We're going to stick with extent for now. We can increase the quantity. I think 4 is the right number there and 4 is the right number there. So that gives me lots of sound to come through. I'm going to press OK there, but then I'm going to highlight, before I highlight, I'm going to draw a center line or a construction line in the center. Then I'm going to highlight all this and I am going to do a mirror and mirror it across over here. So I've got the same on both sides. There's a lot of symbols on here. It can get a little confusing with all these little markings. Don't panic. Now, on this side, I'm going to leave it as it is. Just completely solid. What I might do is I might remove, with the trim tool, these corner ones here, because they don't have any benefit at all. And that one there. And I'm going to remove them on this one as well. And I should have probably done this before I mirrored it. That would have made more sense. There we go. Now already we're looking a little bit fancier. That's looking a bit funkier. But on this left one over here, I'm actually going to remove all the bits round here. And the reason for that is that these overlaps, I don't think are going to look as good. So I'm removing these bits over here. I'm going to leave them on the right hand one so you can see the difference when we put it all together and we make the final assembly. Now what I have to do here is I don't have a profile. These are profiles. These aren't here because this is a construction line. So if I make this construction line not for construction, I now have profiles, but I've also got this profile. I don't want this profile here. So if I trim away just one part of that, this is no longer a separate profile. It's the same profile as everything else was before. So by breaking it here, it's no longer a solid profile, but these are solid profiles because they've got the lines on it. If you want to be really accurate and pedantic, you can go around and remove all of these parts. It won't make a difference to the actual product. So let's have a look, see what this looks like. I'm going to finish my sketch, go to extrude, and I need to select all of these profiles. Be careful to select these profiles, not this profile. There we go. And let's cut them away. And you can see the difference there. Just by having that outside curve, it does make a huge difference to the aesthetic and to the design. But this part is entirely based on what you're looking for, what you want. So that is our front part now done. That can be saved.
Okay, so this is Mr. Camping coming from you from further down the line. I've got in front of me here our front piece with the two different designs cut out, and I've also got on there back the front inner supporting ring and the speaker retaining rings. Now on the left hand side you can see the speaker retaining ring only because there isn't a speaker on here to block it, because that would have a speaker sitting in between it and that would not be visible. However, on the right hand side you've got the front inner ring that's actually going to be visible through these outer holes. Now that might suit your aesthetic or it might not, so this is something to bear in mind and pay attention to. Do you want to see this piece of MDF here through these holes or not? If you're happy with that, then this sort of design, this aesthetic will work for you. If you're thinking about adding colour to all of this and you would like either a separate colour or the same colour here, then that would be fine. If you don't want to have to add that to it, because adding a colour here may affect how the glue adheres from these two layers, then that's something you need to consider. But it is up to you. Okay, I'll finish there and go back to the normal video.
Our front part and our back part are now complete. Everything you see here is now ready to go. We've just got to make the speaker supporting rings, so the retaining rings, and the dividers. Then we can get into assembling it and get it ready for laser cutting. Right, good luck.